into equal groups, so that's the one that goes inside the garage. So we're going to put 3 72/100 in there. And then we're going to divide it by 1 2/10. Now the biggest rule is you cannot divide by a decimal number. You can't do it. So we have to move the decimal so that it's not a decimal number anymore. So we're going to move this to the very end where the decimal's here, and it now becomes a 12. Okay, so this decimal number is now gone. Then if you move it one spot over on the outside, the rule is you have to do the exact same thing to the number inside the garage. So that means we need to, if we move this over one spot, we got to move this one over one spot. Okay, so now our decimals are now in different spots. They're no longer in our original place. So our new question then is 37 2/10 divided by 12. Okay, so the division part is exactly the same. So 12 can't go into 3, but it can go into 37 3 times, which is 36. Subtract, I get 1. Then I bring down the 2. And 12 goes into 12 one time, which is 12, with nothing left over. And just like we learned in the past videos, that the decimal point then goes straight above, and my answer is 3 1/10. Now if you look at, say, a calculator here, and I'll pull the calculator up, and if I divided 3 72/100 by 1 2/10, this is what we would get. 3 72/100 divided by 1 2/10, 3 1/10, just like what we've got as well. Okay, so the big thing is you can't divide by a decimal. You have to move the decimal to the end, and however many spots you move it over, you got to do the same inside the garage. So let's try another one here. Okay, so once again, the one on the beginning, that's what's being divided. That's what's being split up. So 1 96/100 goes inside the garage, and 14/100 goes on the outside of the garage. Now once again, the rule is you can never divide by a decimal, so we have to move this to the end. But this time, instead of one spot, it took 2 spots to get to the end, and that decimal is no longer there. It is right here, which that would be just 14, so we don't need this 0 either. Okay, then if I moved it 2 spots over on the outside, I've got to do the same thing on the inside. So the decimal now moves over here, and it's no longer here anymore. Okay, now after we do that, now we divide it just like normal. So 14 can't go into 1, but it can go into 19 one time. 19 minus 14 is 5, and we bring down the 6. 14 goes into 56 4 times, which is 56, and I subtract, and I've got nothing left over. Now remember, the decimal goes straight above and would be right here. So if I have a 14 with a decimal at the end, that's still just 14.